Hi guys and gals, Froggy here. I changed my mind. I am actually going to give you a video of me putting all this actuator, the recirculation door actuator, back together because there might be some useful stuff here. Right there, I'm shining my light on a little curved cutout on the actuator. That's where one of the screws goes. I'll call it the front screw because it's front towards the engine. The other one is right there. It's going to be super easy to get at. This one's going to be hard to get at, but let me show you what happened when I was trying to get the screws out. I actually put a little dab of super glue on this socket. It's 5.5 millimeters, by the way. Or that's 7/32. It's the equivalent of 5.5 in millimeters. The glue dried, and right now the glue made the socket tighten up on the screw, which is actually a really good thing. The screw's not glued to the socket, but it made the socket smaller and tighter. So I'm going to be able to use this to get that tough one started, and then the other one will just be easy. Okay, let me get that in. You need to put a block of wood under this part of the ductwork that does your defrosting, and that'll give you some space. Remember, in one of the previous videos we separated these two pieces of ductwork by cutting this plastic. There's a plastic rivet and it's also plastic welded together, and we separated that so we got a space so we can reach in there. Okay, so you got to pry them apart, and I would jam a block of wood in there. Where'd it go? Right there. There's the block of wood. It's about 5 inches, give or take. Play around with it and find what you need. Okay, this is pretty cool, so pay attention. What I did was I took my small flashlight. I think you've seen pictures of it before. It's an LED. It's a nice little one I got at Costco in a 3-pack. I laid it down in the cavity here with a good angle so that I could angle onto that spot where I'm trying to get the screw in, which is right there. Oh, good. I've got a good focus too. So I've got light on there. The next thing I did was I put together about 8 or 10 inches of extension on a nut driver handle, and the last one is a flexible extension. You can see it right there in the picture. The flexible extension has the 5.5 socket on the end, which is a tight socket on the nut head. Remember I told you I put the super glue on there so it got tighter and smaller. So far so good. Then I took these forceps. These are like surgical forceps, which were really nice and narrow and could get in there. Let me pull back a little bit. And I grabbed on to this tool to guide it, to guide the screw, which is stuck on the end of the 5.5, to guide it into the hole. Once I could, and I just went totally by feel. I felt it, and then when I felt it go a little bit more, I knew I dropped into the hole. So I'm in the hole, and I start turning and pressing and turning and pressing, and I hold the forceps, so I hold the angle good. And here's my tool, the rest of the tool there. So I'm turning and pressing and turning and pressing, and what do you know? I got it in there. I got it in there good and tight. I could feel it tighten up, and so that's your Froggy tip there. That's a special tip that I don't know if any other technician will ever show you that, but I'm showing it to you to get that front screw. Okay, now I'm going to go the top screw, and then the rest should be a piece of cake. Tool set up there. Driver, extension with a flexible extension, and the 5.5. Well, actually, it's, what did I say it was? 7/16, the equivalent. 7/32, excuse me, 7/32. And there's the light. You've got to get yourself some of these lights. LED lights, rechargeable batteries. I got a 3-pack. I use them every day. No exaggeration. Every day. One's in my office, one's in the trunk of my Corvette, and this one is on my workbench. Bright. Top one goes in really easy, just like that. Okay, next start putting your wire bundles back in. Remember I got this one out of the way. It's right underneath there. It's hard to see, but it goes right up against, right into a piece of plastic right there. This one, which I said I think is a vacuum line, clip that back into these clips. And there's the clip. There's 3 clips, I think. And this sensor is at the end. That pops up through the dash. Okay, put these 2 screws back in. Focus right there. And focus right there. And those are the 2 screws that hold this vent here. You know, there's 2 of them. So this one here, I had you loosen that up, and then remember we split it apart. Focus. We split it apart right there. I think I'll just put a tie wrap around that to hold it so that it doesn't develop a rattle in the dash. So let me go get a tie wrap. Okay, next is your rusty U-shaped dash reinforcement. And remember, this piece comes back down on there. And this is the last. There's a couple of clips here for your wire bundles. This is the sensor, the sunlight sensor goes up there. And this is just one other bundle that goes in there. So that's 4 small screws and then the 2 big, I think they were 10 millimeters. Okay, 4 7 millimeter, 2 10 millimeter, and plug the wire there, and plug that wire bundle there. And I realized that I hadn't hooked this little hose up yet either, so you probably have disconnected this one if you did it the froggy way, so hook that back up. Okay, now I'm going to run through all the cycles and make sure everything's working. Okay, all good. I tested every position. I'm not going to bore you with it, but they're all working. Okay, to start putting the dash back, there are 6 clips like this and matching pieces on the dash like that, and you have to slide those into the clips. So of course, obviously I'm going to need 2 hands, and you have to kind of play it a little bit. Once you lay it up there, make sure you put your sensor in that hole right there, quarter turn. I think that's daylight nighttime sensor. There are 2 tabs on it, so I have to line up the tabs with the cutouts in the dash and then twist it counterclockwise about a quarter of a turn. Okay, I got it in. You'll know when it's in correctly because all these little hold down, where the hold down screws will line up correctly, and there won't be any big gap. If there's a big gap, then you haven't got it far enough forward yet. But you can see right there, everything's good. I had a little bit of trouble with that driver's side corner, but then it popped, clearing something there, and now it's all in. I got a few marks here from where I had it out and probably where I had it in storage, so I'll have to get some, I would call it a taupe, T-A-U-P-E, a taupe color touch-up paint, and just touch up a few of these parts. This is kind of a, it's not really paint, it's like a plastic, rubbery plastic vinyl kind of finish on it. Okay, so let's button down the dash cover. We got 6 Phillips and 5 7 millimeter to go in, and there'll be obvious spots. I'm not going to show you a picture of every single spot. So these screws that hold the dash on, either one will go in either hole. So here's where the originals were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the 5 with a nut head on them, and the rest of them I'll show you here. Like this one, for example, those are the Phillips heads ones. Okay? The Phillips head, 1, 2, middle of your screen there, 1, 2 on the end piece, 2 on the other side, and then 1 each on those small vents, dash vents. The passenger grab handle, just shove it back in and bang on it. It has kind of a curvy part here that matches the curve on the dash. I think it would go either way, but this would be the correct way. Curve matches curve. There you can see how the curve matches. The other side's a little bit different. Well, these are your A-pillars. I marked them, passenger side and driver side. Where is it? There's the passenger side. It's really just a really big clip at the top. I'm fighting some glare here from the bright sun. It's a clip at the top and just some tabs at the bottom. I'm going to put a little silicone on the bottom and probably on the top too, just to make sure that they slide in easier, because it's kind of plastic on plastic, metal on metal. Just put a little silicone on to make life easier. So passenger side went in good. Start at the bottom, put the 2 tabs in, bang down on it a little bit to line up this big metal clip at the top, and then just bang it in there real good to get it going. Driver side next. Well, I must say the going back together, going back on there is going a lot easier than taking them apart. So both of those pillars are in, and let's see what's next. I put the vents in next, and again I like the idea of putting a little bit of silicone grease on there just so they pop in easy. Not so easy. The other side went easy. I may have a little alignment problem. Let me get my flashlight and look. I went in fine on the second try. You have to have it pretty straight when you're going in, like square it off. Don't have it one side ahead of the other side or top ahead of the bottom. And that's good. Passenger side cover over that electrical junction panel. It's not really a fuse panel, but just snaps in, 3 snaps. I pulled the airbag fuse on my car before I started working on it, just to be safe. I suggest you do that on yours too. Might be different. Mine is right there, a little 15 amp. And then 1, 2, 3 clips to close out this panel. Okay, this is the surround for all the driver information, speedometer, all your gauges and everything. And funny, I had this one little rubber bumper that I wasn't sure where it went, so I had it in my bag there, and this last piece I figured out that's where it goes. So again, I would suggest there's no screws or nuts or bolts or anything at all. Put a little silicone on these so they slide in easy, and try and make sure you've got all your little bumpers, because this will be a vibration, dash noise possibly. And the trick to getting this back in is actually to put your steering wheel in the lowest position and your gear shift in the lowest position, so you have some clearance to get it on. And I'm going to put it on now. Well, okay, there it is. I just shoved it on there, basically. Just go around, 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 around. Make sure you get the ones down in there and the ones down in there. It seems pretty good. It seems pretty tight. I don't think there'll be any rattles, so I'm done. Time to put this video up on the internet. Give me a thumbs up or a like if this helps you out. If you have any questions, put up some comments. I will look at all my videos and I will answer questions, and hope it helped you out. If you want more, subscribe to Froggy's channel, Froggy's Garage. Just click on the subscribe button. It's on every video. See you later, guys and gals. Have a great weekend. Vote on Tuesday if you haven't voted already. Bye-bye.